Good morning, everyone. I'm calling the meeting to order, and I'm going to add something to the agenda after we approve the meetings, if that's okay, Chief? All right, thank you. I move that we approve the meetings of December 15th, 2021. May I have a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, approved. The second thing I'd like to discuss is, as Jeffrey mentioned, Jackie did not reapply for her term. And right now, from what I understand, the city council will appoint a new commissioner February 9th. Is that correct?
That is correct. They are going to appoint commissioners on the 9th. However, we do not have someone to fill the third spot for service.
Right. And my question with that is, normally this first meeting in February, we appoint and approve presidents, vice presidents, and secretaries. Since we do not have someone to approve right now, I'm wondering, and Jeffrey, I don't know, do we keep the status quo until that third person comes and then hold a meeting afterwards? Or what are we supposed to do in this situation?
I would, maybe the city attorney can.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I don't have the charter in front of me, but I think the positions are, they remain until the appointments change.
That is correct. And usually the first meeting in February, we appoint a secretary first and then move on. But there's only two of us. And my thoughts are, I would like to have the third person appointed so they could be involved in the voting process. But I'm not sure with the city attorney what we should do in this situation.
I'll follow up with Mary Tejan, our city attorney,
Okay.
And see what she suggests, and we'll take a look at the charter as well.
Okay, so right now we're just going to keep the status quo. Jeffrey, are you comfortable with that?
I am comfortable with that.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm sorry that we're going through this, but we just want to make sure we do everything right for you. So with that in mind, I will move on. And we are going to look at the certification of the fire captain promotion eligibility roster. Chief, would you like to say something first?
Sure, Madam President, Mr. Vice President. As you can see, I believe you got the list. The candidates, we had 8 candidates. All of them participated in the full process. We had, on the first day, they had their functional interview and then the human resources scenario. Second day, they had their fire ground simulation followed by their panel interview. The candidates were ranked and scored in each of those separate categories. And then the results were tabulated and then sent off to Bergen KDV to have them checked for accuracy. And we got that result last week. And you see the list in front of you as validated by Bergen.
All right. All right, would you like me to read the list?
And if you'd like, Madam President, I can share my screen and show the list if you'd like.
You know, usually I talk to Kelly beforehand to get the phonetic pronunciation of some names. So I do not want to, because this is an important thing, brutalize someone's name. So if you would put that up, that would be very helpful.
There is the list as it was reviewed and accounted for by Bergen KDV.
Okay. Well, since we have this up on the screen, instead of reading the entire list and the wording, do you want everyone take a minute to take a look at it? And then I'll move that we just accept this list, if that's okay. Does everyone have an opportunity to take a look at this?
I'm reviewing it now, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, are we ready? All right, I move that we accept the Civil Service Commission Fire Captain eligible register of February 1, 2021, as stated in the document that we are all reading right now. May I have a second?
I second that motion.
And then we will open it up for any discussion. Jeffrey, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions.
Nor do I. So may I have a vote? All in favor? Or second, Jeffrey? Okay, we pass it. Congratulations, everyone. And Kelly, I will get the phonetic of these names because I would like to know after the meeting. So thank you. And congratulations, everyone. And now we're moving on to the approval of the fire chief process. Captain, do you want to go into that?
Madam President, Mr. Vice President, this is actually the assistant chief process.
Assistant, I'm sorry.
That's all right. And what we did was we mirrored the language that we came to with the battalion chief process when we brought that before you back in September. So this process, we have 10 years progressively responsible fire service experience as one of the minimum requirements, bachelor's degree or relevant experience, and then a current officer or experience as well. So again, kind of mirroring the same language that we used. And then the process itself, pretty straightforward process, the cover letter and resume, veteran's preference if applied, and then the fire ground simulation and the panel interview. In this process, the fire ground simulation is just a little bit, it's 5 points more than the battalion chief process, but certainly this is a significant piece of what this person is expected to do. So just 5 points into that piece to make that a little bit stronger. And with that, I'd pause for any questions.
Is this open to the public or is it internal?
Right now, the process is going to be posted as an internal process. We prefer to try and find somebody inside before we look outside.
And what is your timeline on this? I'm sorry, I don't know if I have that information.
So actually, that was one of the things that I would actually like to discuss. Right now, my hope would be that we could do this process, maybe open the process in a week or two. I know that HR has some constraints because of manpower. So I actually, if we looked at what the schedules of the commissioners would be, and looking for a meeting sometime either the first or second week of March, I think would be ideal.
Yeah, I don't have any problems meeting, especially with it being remotely.
Right.
Really at any time. So.
I'm hoping this can be done. I'm having a knee replacement March 16th and we'll be out of it for a little while. Well, I will be available from Zoom. I don't know how happy I'll be with all this. So whatever we can get done before that, I would really appreciate it. And that way we could keep the ball moving. I can still meet. It's just, I don't know if you want to see me with this. So, all right. Any further discussion?
I have no questions.
All right. I move that we approve the assistant fire chief process. May I have a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Passed. Next is annual update, Chief.
Well, commissioners, as you well know, this has been a busy year for not only the fire department, but you as a commission. We had 3 new hires off the list that was established about a year and a half ago. Just this year, I should say. Firefighter Ryan Wolf was hired in February of 2020, firefighter Leon Chambers in August of 2020, and then Jake Rayberger in November. So obviously things moving right along with that. And then we also put in a new process for battalion chief, and you certified that list back in late September. And then the city manager asked you to meet for a fire chief's process in December. So obviously the work of the commission this year has been extraordinary. On top of that, the fire department went on its most calls ever, just over almost 4,450, which fell too shy of that, 4,448 calls total. Of those, about 1/10 of them was related to COVID. So we went on 430 influenza-like illness calls. So whether or not they were positive COVID, we don't know those results until sometimes much later. So in 2021, looking forward to hopefully not as busy of a year within the fire department, but certainly the first step was getting the assistant chief list moving. And then we will probably have a firefighter process early in the fall, as well as our officers test. So
Okay, that was my question. So the firefighter will be early fall?
yeah, we typically will come to you late in the summer and
Okay.
propose the process, and then we will test early fall is usually our timeline.
Okay.
One question, Mike, how many, and if you don't know this off the top of your head, that's fine. How many calls did the department go on, like on an average for the 3 years prior to 2020?
So for the 3 years prior, we were just around 4,000.
Okay.
Last year, we were just over 4,300.
Okay.
So over the last 10 years, we've actually gone up 18%.
Okay.
And can you correct me if I'm wrong? Many of the calls are in cluster areas, like kind of where I live and work, and then where there are nursing homes and 65 plus. Does that still remain the same, where there is an area where you have more calls than other areas?
I think an easier way to say that is where our population density. So
Yes.
certainly the high rises, the apartment buildings, where we have more density, we have more calls.
Okay.
But certainly senior high rises tend to take a little bit more call volume than. I guess we actually don't have just a regular high rise building. But certainly, as we look at our call volume, those are all things that we take into consideration.
And are those, I'm just trying to drill this down, of those like 400 COVID calls were they mainly still 65 plus or 5 plus, or was it across the board? I'm
Those
looking
are more, those are more across the board.
Okay.
Once we got into the community spread of the illness, we actually, if you follow our trend line for ILI calls, it basically mirrors the data that you've seen from the state. Just not as sharp. Yeah.
Okay. Just wondering about that. Questions?
I don't have any further questions of the chief.
All right. Chief, thank you. I know it has been an extraordinary year for the department, not only in staffing changes, but also calls. And once again, I can't stress enough how, I feel like a mother here, how proud I am of our fire department and how professional you are. And I see you showing up, and just, you are a credit to the city of Richfield. And I do want to thank you for all the hard work you've done this year.
Well, I can tell you that we're all very happy to do it, and thank you. We do appreciate it.
All right. Discussion on education in the Richfield Fire Department.
Yeah, commissioners, and I think this is one of the things that we probably should have brought to you before we got into the battalion chiefs process, because one of the things that Chief Kiewicz and myself had been talking about for a long time within the organization is trying to professionalize not only the Richfield Fire Department, but certainly the fire service at large. So one of the things, and we're again with the assistant chief process, we wanted to mirror the language that you both had brought forward in our battalion chiefs process, but I also wanted to let you know that our hope is that we continue to improve the educational level of all of our firefighters. So one of the things, just to get into the Richfield Fire Department, with Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, Hazardous Materials Operations, and EMT. Those core courses are 18 credits worth of credit, 18 credits worth of credits, yes, within the state system.
Right.
So basically 1/3 of an associate's degree with the baseline entry requirements for firefighter.
Okay.
So our hope is that over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, that a firefighter could use the Richfield Employee Education Program. So without bearing any cost to themselves, they could add to those 18 credits and get the 60 credits needed for the associate's degree. Ultimately, we would like to have a point in time where the minimum for a chief level officer position is a battalion chief, or as a battalion chief or an assistant chief, would be a bachelor's degree. And then ultimately either a master's degree or a executive fire officer certificate from the National Fire Academy for the chief position. And those are educational requirements that you start to see across the nation when they're looking for fire chief positions. So I think it just helps us to kind of continue to elevate the education level of all of our staff.
I do have a question with that. I've worked at companies where they helped pay for my college. How do you plan to facilitate that if they want to take these classes with their schedule? I guess I'm trying to look at, I know that they are on several days and off. How classes don't work the same way your schedules are. So I'm just trying to figure out how this would be facilitated.
So with the REAP program, the Richfield Employees Education Program, if a firefighter takes a class through that program, they take their own leave to attend the class, but then it's reimbursed. Then the class is reimbursed by the city.
Okay.
And Commissioner, I think Captain Armstrong has a comment.
Yes. Captain Armstrong?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yeah, I just want to add to what Chief Dover said. That's what I did. I didn't use all REAP money for my associate's degree, but I got it after I was a firefighter here. So I took vacation or holiday time off in most cases, or trades to go to classes. Now it's online a lot. I think Battalion Chief Wood was able to do her classes at Colorado online. So there's a lot more flexibility now. So the opportunity to continue your education is really not difficult. I think for firefighting, butts in the seat helps a lot because you get some hands-on stuff. But we've had one of our lieutenants also has got his associate's degree after he's gotten here. So we have the time and ability to figure that out and take time off for getting more education.
That's great. I just want to make sure that there aren't too many hurdles to get your associate's degree. Because I think it is important, whether lifelong learning, no matter what, is important. But this is going towards you being able to move up in the fire department. I just don't want to see too many hurdles for firefighters that want to move forward. So I just want to make sure we're all clear on how that process works.
And Chief,
Yeah.
you had mentioned that there were 18 credits, or about 1/3 of the associate's degrees. Those credits are already attained before the firefighters are hired, correct?
Correct. That's
Right.
that's our minimum
Standard.
for hire.
Right. Well, I encourage all firefighters to keep moving forward with this program if they would like to do that. It's a good way to move up. Any other questions? Concerns? Okay. Is there any other business?
I have no other business for that, Commissioner.
I don't. Chief, do you? Janelle?
I do not.
Anyone else? Well, thank you for attending today. I can see several of you even without my glasses on, so I do appreciate all the staff attending today. This is the start of our new year in February, so I'll look forward to seeing people soon, and hopefully we will have a new commissioner very soon. And I can speak for myself. I really enjoy being a commissioner, and so I do hope that there are some qualified candidates out there that the council can approve. And Jeffrey, anything from you?
I have nothing further for today. So
All right. I move that we adjourn this meeting. May I have a second?
I second that motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.